take responsibility for your life. Achieve fulfillment with recovery. Check out responsiblerecovery.net.
Well, where did the consequences come in that ended up pushing you into recovery?
I think the consequences were at that time, if I look back, this would have been around 2010. I think just the guilt, the guilty conscience. Yeah, I had done the withdrawals, several times at that point. But I think just just coming to terms and saying, like, I wasn't for me, this is not the same for a lot of people, but for me, I never necessarily had a problem with denial. You know what I mean? Like, I pretty much knew after those first couple years where I was naive and kind of having fun, having a blast. I mean, I'm not, you didn't have to tell me I was a drug addict. You didn't have to tell me I had a problem. Like, I knew it, and I wasn't going to argue with you about it, and I just knew how hard it was. It's hard waking up every day trying to find the drugs, and it's hard. It takes a toll, it takes a toll on everything, your relationships. And, but I think just from looking back right now, my memory isn't the best, particularly, but, I want to say, I can kind of remember an event where I want to say my mom gave me some money, and I spent it on drugs, and when she called, and they knew I had the problem, particularly my mom, and when I remember being on the phone with her, and she had mentioned something about what I was going to do with that, supposed to do with that money or something, and I told her, I got drugs, I got high, and I remember hearing her voice, and that was kind of around the same time. So I think back then it was like the combination of just like, oh man, I'm tired of doing the withdrawal thing. Like, I'm better than this. I don't, I want to get this, taken care of quickly. I don't want this to drag on for 10 years. But then mainly the toll it took on my family. It was a lot going on. I don't know. I think my sister had already passed away, pretty recently. I could be wrong, but if she hadn't, she was still very, very not well. And so that was affecting the family. And so with my bullcrap going on, that was affecting the family. And you tie all those things around it, the money, just the crap that goes on, the withdrawals, losing things, material things. I think I just like, if there's, I think here was actually, I could tell you the moment where I decided, one of my withdrawal times, I was withdrawing. I think I just came back from Vegas, was going to live at home, and I was detoxing, and I brought whatever I could. I think that would help me, but I hadn't had a full understanding of how you could, take care of yourself to an extent through withdrawals. So I think I brought like some Xanax and, whatever else, but that's not going to do anything for you when you're withdrawing from dope. So, so I was just like, I was in the bathroom and things were coming out both ends. At that moment, it had been the worst I had experienced of the withdrawals, and I guess I've heard both ways, but the one I remember them saying was that, every time it gets harder and harder, it gets worse and worse. And coupled on the fact that I don't know how much I have to imagine any logical person would say that because of what I went through with the cancer and the chemo and all that stuff, that, I probably had a rougher go about it with the stomach issues and things like that. So could not stop heaving and throwing up, and also, so I was sitting on the toilet and my head was in the bathtub, and it was just like I couldn't stop. I just couldn't move. It was heaving. It was uncontrollable. And even though my parents knew I had an issue, I could still at sometimes just kind of finagle, not by not being so direct about what was going on, and say, something's wrong, something's not right. And because it wasn't, so far away from the chemo and the treatment and all that stuff, nobody would really delve in and think deeply about it. They would just kind of surface level, like, okay, well, let's just get you help. Let's take you to the doctor or whatever. But anyway, so that time, ambulance came, carted me off, and And I remember it being in the hospital. Something happened. I think a doctor gave me the wrong meds or something like that. And I had a breakdown. You know, I was like crying. And something happened. I thought I was going to die in the hospital. I think they gave me the wrong med or something like that. And it was really scary. And I think at that moment, I was thinking about my dad sent me a text. And I was just like, man, yeah, I need help. And I called. You know, I didn't know anything back then. So, like, one of those numbers on TV that's like, you know, like Pax Prentice. You know, I used to be an addict. Now I'm dead. No, he didn't see now. Now I'm not, but I think he's dead now. But, so I called one of those numbers, and of course, they call you back like in 2 seconds. And somehow or other, I found a rehab, and it was up in Northern California, and it was Azure Acres up in Sevastopol or Petaluma or one of those cities up there. So yeah, that's where I went in 2011. So that's the first time I got into recovery.
Yeah, how was that program?
It was cool. I mean, it wasn't what I expected. I think you have an idea before you go in of what like rehab's gonna be. You know, you're gonna have this one-on-one treatment, and they're gonna like, Marty, tell me about Marty. You know, what's bothering you? Like, and none of that happens. I mean, just literally zero one-on-one. It's group stuff, homework, very peripheral. I've just come to call it what it is, which is a $25,000-$30,000 detox. It's a great, safe place to be away and get meals fed to you and have things right there for you. And they detox you, nice detox meds. And, you know, you're pretty much loaded the first 5 days on, you know, Suboxone, Baclofen, Clonidine. I mean, you're nodding out tough. You know, you're loaded in those rehabs those first few days. So, yeah, I didn't learn anything, you know. I mean, it was like, okay, you know, I mean, and I think all the while I was thinking about the tutor, the pen that I would smoke the heroin out of. I had it back home, and all the while I was thinking about, like, you know, I think I was jostling back and forth, like, I'm not even gonna, who cares about that? I'm over that. Oh man, like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna hit that up. Like, I'm barely gonna need anything when I get home, and I'll get faded. And so yeah, I mean, nothing, you know, monumental broke through to me. Met some cool people. You know, you laugh a lot. It's fun. It's a blast. But I mean, there's really nothing they teach you, nothing gained. I mean, it's exactly what it is, a $30,000 detox. I mean, all the healing and all the progress comes from within. So it's really nothing that, you know, they can do that's gonna, you know, make it better.
And what happened after you got out of there?
I went right home and got high. So that's $30,000 down the drain. Yeah, so yeah, I went home and got high, and I had already known at that point that, like, a couple months from then, my roommate for my freshman year, who was a good guy, he was born in Ohio like me. We were gonna move to Ohio, back to Ohio. That's where I'm from. We were gonna move to Cincinnati, and so I was still in that you know, what do they call them? Not relocations. It's geographics. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna go to this new place. Everything's gonna be better. You know, I'm gonna go to this new place. I'm not gonna have the same connects, and everything will be better. So I wasn't fully immersed in that phase. So I did the geographic. So yeah, I came home from that first rehab, was getting high for those couple months before we did the geographic. I had some Suboxone with me, detoxed on the cross-country trip to Cincinnati, and, you know, it was cool for a month or so out there until I felt comfortable enough to ask a brother, you know, hey man, what, you know, yeah, where's it at? Got it. You know, bam. But full blown, you know, now I'm snorting heroin because out there it's China white. So yeah, you know, geographics don't work. Moral of the story.
Take responsibility for your life. Achieve fulfillment with recovery. Check out responsiblerecovery.net.